Way to spell it out.
Welcome to the Right Moves, where we talk about how the right moves and how to profit from it. All right. Next up, the next story was what's the next story again?
This Cardano and DOGE dividend.
DOGE Dividend. I thought of it. I came up with it. I thought of it at the same time you said it. So what I love about the Doge dividend is that it's very much like the Fort Knox story, right? You can sort of guess. I'll just Quentin Tarantino foreshadow it. What do you think the trade's going to be?
Long
Right?
Bitcoin.
Yeah. So here's one thing I want to spell out. If there's a difference when the central bank prints money, quantitative easing, adding liquidity to the system, dollar swaps, all that sort of thing. There's a difference when central banks do it than when governments do it. When central banks and issue currency, it causes asset price inflation. So stocks, real estate, any financial assets, they go up. The inflation happens there, and it causes a debasement of the currency. So the currency is decreasing in value, and you need more of it to buy the sort of assets where that liquidity is touching. I've said this all the time. If you print the reason counterfeiting is illegal is that if you print money and then you start spending it, you'll cause inflation locally and then eventually abroad as the money spreads. That's what inflating is. You're inflating the money supply. But if I print $1 billion worth of currency and I keep it in my basement and never spend it, there is no inflation. And if I only spend it in certain areas, inflation will only happen in those certain areas because that's where the money's hitting. Because where the liquidity goes, that you get the inflation. So when the central banks do it, it causes asset price inflation because the liquidity is stuck within that system. When the government does it and hands it out to regular people, so regular idiots like you and I have extra money to spend, you think that goes in a savings account trying to, that's not what's happening.
Wait, didn't a lot of the COVID money go into savings accounts?
No, most of the COVID money went into, a lot of it went into the public, which is why we got a bunch of inflation. But most of it went into the 1%, those who have. That's why it was the largest upward transfer of wealth in American history. But the amount that did go into the hands of regular people, caused the worst inflation we've seen since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they decide they're going to take 20% of the savings from the government and then issue that to the people, for sure, we're going to get more spurts of inflation. There's no way around it.
Okay, I don't understand this because it's money that had they not taken from the consumer, they would have had and spent.
No. So remember, it's where the dollars are circulated, where the liquidity is. If it's going to the hands of people who are 300 years old off of Social Security and their money's being funneled someplace or whatever to be used in, then it's not going to cause an inflation. But it causes inflation that goes to schmucks like you and me, and if we go buy a TV, that'll cause inflation.
What if you offset it by reduction in government spending?
Then you just have an even amount. Yeah, that could be. Well, not exactly, because when government spends, it's only if the government spending that's cut is inflationary, where it goes into general liquidity of regular people. So if they cut social programs, Social Security, Medicare, things that help regular people, yeah, then you can offset it. But then what was the point?
I feel like you're making the claim that what Donald Trump is doing with this dividend, this DOGE dividend, is not a good idea, and that's not possible.
Whoa! It is a good idea because it's going to be inflationary. But a lot of that money, where do you think it's going to go?
Bitcoin.
There you go, buddy. Exactly what we saw in 2020. Handed out a bunch of money, Bitcoin soared, right? Just absolutely took off. So you're still going to get asset price. You could get asset price inflation and inflation just writ large, but Bitcoin should benefit from that pretty dramatically. And so we want that to happen.
Do you think they will do it?
I think they'll get $1,000. I think they'll get $1,000.
The moment I started hearing about Doge cutting stuff, I was like, why aren't they giving some of the money back. You know how much public support you'll get if people know the more you cut, the more I'll get. You incentivize them immediately, and
Well,
then I
that's the
still
idea.
some economist, whatever comes out, he's like, "Oh, I had this great idea." I'm like, "Why didn't 100 of you have this idea? This is
Okay.
crazy. This is it's no brainer."
Yeah. So that's part of the conversation. It's like, can you imagine? King Trump goes in and Papa Elon helps and just starts
Yeah, if you see
spraying
on
money
your
to the
website
populace.
the
Forget it.
amount of your check right now, if it
Right.
was is 1,000, let's keep going. It's gonna there'll be a firestorm.
That's right. So I do think there's a likelihood that they do that. It's sort of like it'd be difficult for them to float an idea like that and then not send any money. I don't think they're sending $5,000 per
But
eligible
what if they
adult.
cut way more from the Pentagon, for example? What if they
They're
cut 500 billion from the Pentagon?
they're not cutting the Pentagon, okay? That's never happening. All right?
They
Stop.
but
Don't even suggest it. Peter,
they
don't cut the Pentagon.
they just
Okay?
waste so much money at the Pentagon.
How's it
It's all
waste?
waste.
No, it's not. Peter, the the Pentagon, the seat of the American Empire, the strength of the American Empire, the American Empire depends on control of the waters and be able to enforce the policies
No,
from
no, I'm not
foreign
arguing
policies.
against force. That's not what I'm arguing about.
All
What
right.
I'm saying is, when they are spending $1,000 on a hammer, that hammer doesn't cost $1,000.
No, but I mean, other than enriching a few folks,
No, it's not just that. It's that they have to spend what is appropriated, or else they get less money next time. So they go on these spending sprees. They spend overpriced things. That it's not just the Pentagon. They all do that.
okay.
So the Pentagon is not going to get less strong if you cut the budget by half.
Here's the thing. I've brought this up several times, and I guess it doesn't really come through. But the thing, as a world reserve currency, the United States has to make dollars and send it abroad. They have to, or it's deflationary.
So just give it to Americans and let them buy products abroad.
No, giving it to the Americans is the worst thing you can do. It's the worst way of spreading dollars abroad.
Okay, what compromise does the CIA have on you? Because you sound like the anti-people. Are you an
I'm not
anti-politician?
anti-people. I'm pro-American Empire. I'm pro-imperialism.
Okay.
I mean, if there wasn't an empire, I would. I don't know. Every time you look through history, the periods in between empires filled with bleep and bleeps. Just not good times. Dark Ages, buddy. There were no Dark Ages during Empire times.
Okay, so send it abroad. Okay. So you think they should do the dividend because it's good
When
for
Bitcoin go up,
Bitcoin,
yes.
but it's bad for everything else.
Oh, inflation is pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty nice
So
and high
what
inflation.
value is there in having Bitcoin at 250,000 if everything is more expensive?
Well, those who have the Bitcoin won't suffer the pain as much as the people who don't have the Bitcoin. They might not suffer any pain.
No, but I mean, if Bitcoin can stay the price it is, and the price of assets is this, and then Bitcoin could go up and the price of assets go here, what do I care?
Because you
You
make
might as well
interest
not
payments
do
to
the
them.
dividend. You might as well not inflate Bitcoin.
No. Only those who hold the asset will benefit from the price appreciation. So you will benefit from the price appreciation. The people who don't have any Bitcoin won't. Won't. They'll suffer.
Well, yeah, exactly. So status quo, keep things the way they are.
But then how do we get richer? I don't understand.
All right. How much Bitcoin do you think? Do you think they're going to do the Bitcoin reserve thing?
Yeah, I mean,
Shouldn't
the
they do
cherry
that
has already been
before?
broken on that.
Then they should do that before the dividend, before Fort Knox.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. The way they're talking doesn't sound like they know these knock-on effects. They just say things. Someone just tweeted out to Elon and says, "Hey, that's a good idea. Let me go ask Trump." And says Trump says, "Yeah, that sounds pretty good."
Oh man,
I don't
I
know.
love it. Fly by the seat of your pants, government. It's exciting.
I don't question the great champions. Let them do what they need to do.
Are you seeing
Our
the
goal is,
gray champions?
yeah, the great champions.
Gray or great?
Grey, Grey.
Oh, this is from the fourth turning.
Exactly.
I thought there's supposed to be one.
They're supposed to be, but we're lucky. And this fourth turning, We have dos. We have a father and we have a monarch. It's great.
All right. Long Bitcoin. Got it.
Long Bitcoin.